So this is a pretty exciting video because today we're going to look at putting up the soffits and the fascia, which is really starting to be the finish work on the outside of the house. And it gives us an opportunity to see what the house is going to really look like when it's finished. So one thing you don't see very much on these videos is me out there working. And that's because I'm scared of heights, really. No, and I'm also not as skilled as these guys are. But one thing you should know when you watch this video is that our fascia that's going up today is going to be black, and you're going to see the trim. What you'll start to see is the trim of the house. And I want you to know that I painted all the fascia boards before they were installed. So that gives it its first coat of paint. Then after everything is finished, it'll obviously get a second coat of finished paint, and it'll look a lot better. What you're looking at right here is the first soffit to go up, and this is the front of our house on the top roof line that it's over the porch. And the reason why they started here and why they're doing this work now is that we're very hopeful that next week the roofers are going to come and they're going to put up the ice and water shield on our roof, which is the first step of getting the house completely sealed in. And they didn't want to walk on the section of roof that had an ice and water shield on it. So they really wanted to get this finish work done before the roofers came and put up the barrier there that could be slippery, and also they don't want to damage it. So this is the very first piece of soffit that's going in. And one thing I notice as I'm watching Chad and Jim work together is there's just as much time spent really getting the pieces exact as there is to installing things. So when they're working up high like this and they're installing boards, sometimes they go up and down the ladder 2 or 3 times to make adjustments to what they're cutting in order to get it just perfect. And that's one thing that we're really grateful with our chance to work with Chad. He is a perfectionist, and it's working in our favor so that we know each board that goes into this house is going in the right way and is fitting correctly. And it's important because when you look at a finished house and you look up at the soffit, anything that doesn't fit together in exactly the right way, you see it. You see the notches not being even and that kind of thing. And so, it's important to take the time to do it right. So we're very, very grateful that we have Chad working with us. And so this is the final piece of soffit that they're putting in the overhang of the top of the front of our porch right here. And the thing about the way the soffit and the fascia work together is the soffit, fits in under the roof. We're basically, like we say, covering the skeleton of the roof line with our soffit, but it is overhanging. I think it's 3/16 of an inch that it overhangs. And the prep work that went into the fascia boards, which is what you see him holding here, is that Jim routed a groove that goes down the fascia board so that it actually fits right into the overhang of what's coming out on the soffit. So it has a really nice tight fit there. And that way we have a nice clean look and a good solid fit. So there was a lot of unseen prep work that went into being ready to put this fascia board and soffit up. So the one thing that they found on this first board is that even though it fit perfectly, the groove that he created fit perfectly with the overhang of the soffit, the top of the fascia board stuck up over the roof just a little bit, and they don't want that. So in this particular situation, he had to go back and plane it to make it flush so that when the roofers come and the shingles are laid, then we have a flush surface between the fascia and the roof. But they figured out after this first board that it was much better for them to rip the fascia board before installation, and that way they've got a nice flush connection between the roof and the edge of the fascia board. So they worked that out. But you can see here that our trim is going to be black. This video has a picture, a little sneak peek of the color of our house. So our house itself is going to be green, and the windows are going to be trimmed out with black, and the roof line and the fascia board will be trimmed out with black. The roof is going to be dark gray. And then if you look at where they're standing, there's a triangle kind of at the top over that roof line on our porch. And we're just kind of thinking about, so if you have an opinion, you might be able to give us a comment. If the house is green and you can see that the fascia is going to be black, we have beams coming down our house because we have a wraparound porch. So we have beams along the top around all four corners of the porch, but then also beams coming down, and those are going to be stained. And so we're kind of just talking about that triangle at the top where the guys are standing right now, if we should match the color of the house in green, or if we should match the color of the stained wood on our beams and give it a little pop of color there in the triangle. So if you have an opinion, drop us a comment and let us know what you think. Because we don't want it to be busy with too much, but we want it to look classy. So you can see here they're adding the fascia board to the other side of this. And again, can't really see this in the video, but often before they're ready to attach something like this, they've gone up and down the ladder 3 or 4 times to make sure that their cuts are just right and their angles are just right. And that's especially important when they're matching up to another roof line. So this gives you a picture of the finished fascia on the top roof line, and now they've moved down to the lower roof line, adding the soffit that goes underneath that part of the roof. The soffit it comes primed, so it's just primed right now, but it will be painted green to match the color of the rest of the house. So you can see the soffit coming together there, covering up the bones, the skeleton, we say, of the house. And there is the finish of the front of our house with the fascia up on the cricket and the front. Ooh, sneak peek of the colors. What do you think? That's our green and our black trim for the colors of our house. Looks like the forest. So in this last part of the video, I was just walking underneath the roof line to show you the finished soffit with the vent that they put in there, and trying to give you kind of a visual of the the fascia coming around the corner. I'm just really impressed with the quality of the work, and it takes time. I mean, there's only 2 of them, and we've been building this house for more than a year, so it does take a long time, but I think the details matter, and I'm grateful to be working with a contractor that really is concerned about that quality and is taking the time to allow us to learn and work with him. And by us, I mean Jim. Jim's doing all the work with our contractor. I just get to come along every once in a while and make a video. And there he is, standing in the door of his beautiful home.